Welcome to Baker's channel where stories unfold, covering trials, dramas untold. Grab your seat, settle in, start the show. Courtroom clashes, the fun we bestow. Baker's channel, action's hot, trials and fun, all we got. Discuss, debate, break it down. Baker's channel, just the best in town. Lawyers smart, tensions high, sparks fly. We laugh, we learn, dive into the why. Join the chat, have your say, it's your place too. Every twist, we're here for you. Baker's channel, action's hot, trials and fun, all we got. Discuss, debate, break it down. Baker's channel, just the best in town. Damn, please let join the crowd. Baker's channel, we're live and loud.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what if any you might be. And welcome to this change up, because I was looking at the Tillis case, but again, so many people were covering it, and a few people had asked me if I wanted to cover this trial, which is one of those kind of like the Atlanta trial I covered earlier, who probably gonna make people hate me even more. But I'm nothing but not a sucker for being called the R word. But it's a case about someone claiming self-defense again. This time it's a little different than the last self-defense case, because this time she pew-pewed through a locked door at a woman standing outside with her 10-year-old son. This is from her police investigation.
She was saying, I'm going to kill you. It was banging, it was yelling. I thought she was just going to break down the door.
Okay.
So, I mean, my heart was pounding and I was like, she's really going to kill me.
No one that we've interviewed so far has made any statements about her saying that she wanted to kill you.
That's what I heard.
Have you done any research on like the laws as far as like in Florida, as far as self-defense and things like that?
I looked at it today.
You looked at it
That when
today?
I was on Facebook, just some things that, they had it up on Facebook.
Susan, I think you know the reason why I'm asking that question. You're smart, okay? And the reason is.
Oh, hell no. No, absolutely. I know what you're thinking. Did I look up the laws so I could do something? No.
I feel that there was a level of fear, but from everything I've seen, it doesn't rise to the level for you to justify shooting through a closed door and with a firearm. Okay, and I think you know that wasn't reasonable. I'm not taking away how you were treated, but those are children nonetheless, right? And now they don't have a mother to go home to. And I think you know what you did was wrong. I think you know that there were already deputies on the way.
But there was times I called and the deputies never showed up.
I understand. It's been
So,
2 minutes. So you.
To me, it wasn't 2 minutes.
So allegedly, she was feeling scared and pew-pewed through a locked door because she heard her say, "I'm gonna unalive you." No one else has confirmed that. This have had undertones of being racial based, because apparently it's an ongoing conflict between the neighbors, and certain colorful words have been used. So I haven't looked much into it. I'll be honest, I never do that. But it's garnered some tension in the local community. I watched the jury selection earlier today. It's a really weird jury selection because we'll see. Actually, yeah, uh, 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 it's not live right now, but they said the names of the jurors. They showed the faces of the jurors, but they've been through a lot of jurors so far asking, do you know about this case? Do you have any biases on your knowledge? And one guy got removed because he didn't have a Florida driver's license because he just moved down from New York. Another guy had some medical inconveniences, but so far, I only heard one person say, well, I can't be unbiased because I know about the racial tension in it. So it's it can be a very interesting case. I think they will finish seating the jury today. I don't. They were kind of going through it pretty fast, so I don't know if we might get opening statements today. But I thought let's dip our toes in and see what it is. Hey, mom, of 10. Yes, I did watch some of the jury selection, and yes, it was. A lot of people have heard about it, but they were also a lot of them said no. I will be able to be unbiased, and yes, we saw both faces and heard names. So that's I'm a little wishy washy if I'm going to show the jury selection because it's not doxing, and I think it's because of the laws in Florida that it's the openness about it, but I'm a little wishy-washy if I'm going to do it. Boos. And Peter A. Helen from Holland. Chelsea B. No, she wasn't a ballerina and she looks even worse today. Maybe. They were moving pretty fast. They were supposed to have been back 8 minutes ago. So just refresh it. Nope, still not going. They were supposed to be back 8 minutes ago to continue asking questions. I think Jess said maybe it could be interesting to watch some of the wadia of the jurors, but let's see how much they say names and stuff like that. Hey, Ria. Hey, son, Panella. Terrible decision to pew a gun when you can't see what, especially when she's standing with her 10-year-old. Well, it's always a dumb idea, but again. Hey, CM Lavelle from Western Massachusetts. Hey, Celestial. Someone is threatening you. Better don't check for self-defense regulation. It depends on when you do it, because if you do it after, if you look it up before you do it, forty foot containers. Hey, Kim. Yes. Yeah, her interrogation should be quite interesting, but I don't want to show it because I think we'll see that during the trial. Hey, Josie. My weekend was great. I met up with Dave Saturday on the Viking Ship Museum, and Sunday I spent with my daughter. Yeah, I had been talking to my research team about doing it, but I got in a lot of hot water during the Atlanta case, so I was kind of like, it's an interesting case, but do I want to be called the R word constantly for the next year like I did with the Atlanta case? But again, I have wide hips. I can carry a lot of burdens. Yeah, she's a special cookie. It's they're seating the jury today. We don't know if we might get to opening statements today. It depends on how fast they are at picking the jury, because it's what now? It's close to 1:30 Florida time. If they use another hour, 2:30, I don't think opening statements is going to last a long time in this case. I heard some rumors that it might only be a couple of days of trial, so it's going to be interesting. Well, it did in the Travis Rudolph case, and that's not a year ago. So it depends on the jury. Can you make the jury believe that you had a reason to stand your ground? Blazy. What part of Florida? Orlando. Hey, Zero Sum. DK Cribble. We are talking about Susan, I think it's Lorincz, a woman who unalived her neighbor over an argument about her kids playing too close to the neighbor's house. The neighbor kids playing too close to her house. An ongoing conflict that ended badly. How do I say hello in Polish? Welcome. My Polish is really, really poor. Working with Polish bakers, you only learn certain words that you can't say online. This is jury selection. Well, I'm not, because we have really bad laws in Denmark for that. But again, I will only serve like 10 years, so maybe, nope, I can't say anything about making a grift out of it. Dudes. A slingshot. They are legal in Denmark. There are some motions about a DCYF case. I assume with the victim, we may see some of that. I don't know what DCYF is. Nonya. It's doesn't seem like they really want to get going in Florida. So I'll pull up some more articles about this case. But some of them are really sensationalist. There were a lot of people talking about that it should have been a hate crime because she allegedly used very colorful language. Oh, well, it's going to be good. About a week, yeah. But maybe was it the state who said they were probably going to be 2 days? I heard 2 days somewhere. Thank you. Woody and Thug's Trail, strangely amusing. At some point, it becomes ridiculous what's going on. Did you tell the police officer that? I don't remember anything I told any police officer. Did you tell the police officer that? I don't know what I told the police officers. On this day, did you tell the police officers this? And that whole trial should be, I don't know, at least the prosecution teams should be taken off that case because they are so horrible bad at it. Hallo, schöner. Locked door, armed with pew, allegedly being threatened with words. From what I've seen so far, I don't see stand your ground here. No. Even though she claims I was afraid she was going to bust down my door, didn't she have? But that's again, stand your ground, blah, 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 duty to retreat. Why didn't she call 911? I think it's going to be, as always, presumption of innocence, but we have questions. No, we can use appropriate force to stop a crime. but we're not allowed to unalive anyone. Department of Children and Family Services. Okay, thank you. Zachariah, behave. The judge said 1 week from that 2000. Yeah. It all depends on, because today has been moving actually quite
All right.
speedy.
Right now we can't
I think they spent an
find Mr. Rivera. Shift over receipt.
oh, and I think before you start talking about the judge's face, he had been in a horrible car accident, I think, but he looks kind of like the Elephant Man. So he looked like he's burned on the right side. But I think they only spent like an hour before lunch, maybe an hour and a half, and they went straight through. It's really snappy.
You're gonna move. No, the other way. You're gonna move over. And you're gonna go up there. I know. All of you will move down a seat.
Just remember, don't try to get out of it. Be the reasonable person on the jury.
Just like musical chairs. The music stops, you're on the jury. Okay, that'll take us to Renee Ruiz. Come on, Mr. Ruiz.
Yeah, they said names all the time.
So all of you have already been sworn in, as I said before. What I'm going to read to you now is the information that was filed in this case. The information is a charging document.
And so far, he seems like a guy who keeps his duck in a row. He reads it easy, asks questions, and he said during the instructions that they weren't allowed to look up anything, but they will be able to ask questions during trial. So hopefully we'll get some jury questions.
It's the document the state of Florida uses to charge a person with a crime.
Last year.
I want to caution you that the information is not.
Yes, and that's a bit of I'll try to I'll try to go off screen, but again, it's an open court, so yeah.
Evidence that you're not to consider as evidence. By its definition, it informs you of what the charge is. Okay, so listen carefully. The state of Florida alleges, in this case, one count. They allege that the defendant, Susan Lorincz, committed count one, manslaughter by use of a firearm. The state alleges that Susan Lorincz, on or about June 2nd, 2023, did, by an act, procurement, or culpable negligence, and without lawful justification, inflict upon Ajike Owens wounds and injuries which resulted in the death of Ajike Owens, a human being, by willfully, wantonly, and recklessly pointing a firearm at Ajike Owens and causing said firearm to discharge a projectile which struck Ajike Owens, mortally wounding her in violation of the applicable Florida statute. I'm also going to read you something that's equally important.
Everyone, if you're not following Dave on Twitter, go watch and see how happy a man can be because he's in Denmark. He had been spending 2-3 days in Sweden, but then he came to Denmark and he was all smiles, all happiness, because he was no longer in Sweden, but in the paradise called Denmark. Dave, you're welcome. And thanks for the cap. And I hope your dad-in-law loved the old Danish. Zach could have been a champion in the Junior Olympics if it wasn't for those medaling kids. Jesus, it's going to be a long day. Thank you, Zach.
The defendant has entered a plea of not guilty. This means you must presume or believe the defendant is innocent. The presumption stays with the defendant as to each material allegation in the information. through each stage of the trial, unless it has been overcome by the evidence to the exclusion of and beyond a reasonable doubt. To overcome the defendant's presumption of innocence, the state has the burden of proving the crime with which the defendant is charged was committed, and the defendant is the person who committed the crime. You, Mr. Rivera?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll move
I'm just going to take it off if they show his face.
him down to the next round. Okay, just have a seat.
No, they're not showing his face.
Let me go back for a second. To overcome the defendant's presumption of innocence, the state has the burden of proving the crime with which the defendant is charged was committed, and the defendant is the person who committed the crime. The defendant is not required to present evidence or prove anything. Whenever the words reasonable doubt are used, you must consider the following. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt does not mean proof beyond all doubt. A reasonable doubt is not a mere possible doubt, a speculative, imaginary, or forced doubt. Such a doubt must not influence you to return a verdict of not guilty if you have an abiding conviction of guilt. On the other hand, if, after carefully considering, comparing, and weighing all the evidence, there is not an abiding conviction of guilt, or if, having a conviction, it is one which is not stable, or one which wavers and vacillates, then the charge is not proved beyond every reasonable doubt, and you must find the defendant not guilty because the doubt is reasonable. It is to the evidence introduced in this trial, and it alone, that you are to look for that proof. A reasonable doubt as to the guilt of the defendant may arise from the evidence, conflict of the evidence, or lack of evidence. If you have a reasonable doubt, you should find the defendant not guilty. If you have no reasonable doubt, you should find the defendant guilty. Does everyone understand that the nature of criminal cases in this country, and it's the same throughout the entire country, based on our Constitution, that all of us are presumed innocent? Does everyone understand that? And that you keep that presumption unless the state can prove the case beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that in the end of the case, what you're really asked is, has the state proven the case beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt? You may have some unanswered questions. You may have some unanswered thoughts. But the only question you have to answer is, has the state proved the case beyond all reasonable doubt? Does everyone understand that? Does anyone feel like that should not be the case, that we should use some other standard in court cases? There's lots of countries in the world where people use different standards, believe it or not. Does anyone else believe that we should use a different standard? Okay. Well, all of you agree to that standard in this particular case? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. I know there's times when you're quiet and times when you're not. Also, I want you to understand that the nature of what jurors do is jurors find facts. I will provide the law to you. I will provide jury instructions to you. Every word that needs to be defined, I will give a definition to you. What you do is find facts. And once you determine those facts, you then apply the law to those facts. So this is not an opportunity for you to decide what the law is or what it should be. I will tell you what the law is. Your job is to find facts. Do all of you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm going to do is just go down the row with just some easy questions, starting with Mr. Cook. I'm going to ask you everyone the same easy questions, okay? Just give us your name. If you are married or have someone else you live with, let us know what he or she does for a living.
And this is going to be the problem showing this, because if they are going to go through names of the jurors, potential jurors, and spouses, that's not really kosher to I know that Fox maybe is showing it, and it's kind of okay to do it, but I don't like doing that. But I really like to hear the questions, but it's yeah.
Case, or if your spouse is a law enforcement officer.
So I don't know how if no, they don't have no right to privacy, but I don't put a webcam in your house either. René, behave. Yes, but still, we are not in that courtroom. And
What type of work do you do?
Air conditioning technician.
Okay. Do you live with someone
Yes,
married?
my wife.
Do you have adult children who work outside the home?
Not yet.
You seem disappointed in that. Have you been on a jury before?
not with the charges brought against you, Lefty. That's no.
No.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Bar, do you remember them?
No.
Okay. Are you employed?
Yes, sir.
What type of work do you do?
I'm a laborman on a block crew.
All right. Do you live with someone married?
My mom.
Okay. And do you have adult children?
No.
Have you served on a jury before?
No.
Thank you.
I want to share like the judges to stream from.
Joseph Pernice.
Yes, sir.
These
Same
are
questions.
My name will work now. Sorry.
It's okay. Are you employed?
Yes, sir.
What type of work do you do?
I work at Publix.
And are you married? Have anyone you live with as an adult?
No, but I live with my parents.
Okay. Do you have adult children who work outside the home?
No, sir.
Have you been on a jury before?
No, sir.
Appreciate that. Nisha
La,
Fry.
la, la, la.
I'm employed, I'm administrative manager at the library. I'm married, my husband is.
La, 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 la.
Okay.
Yeah,
What does he do for DCF?
probably because they could be in law enforcement or connected to something, which yeah. Yeah, but if I go on and say, hey, I'm Broken Baker and I am probably someone will clip that and use it against me.
Okay. He doesn't do any sort of investigations of neglect or anything like that? Okay. Do you have adult children who work outside the home? No? Got to answer out loud because we're trying to record this.
No.
Claims self-defense, pewed her black neighbor through a locked door because she claims the black woman was trying to break into her house because they were arguing over her children. There has been some racial undertones. People wanted to be classified as a hate crime, but it hasn't been. It's a felony manslaughter. One charge of felony manslaughter, so 30 years if she gets convicted. But she claimed self-defense. This is jury selection.
You're probably used to talking quietly. I get that. Have you been on a jury before?
No.
Thank you. Erica Johnson.
I am widowed. I work as an administrative assistant. I have one adult daughter. She is in ICU.
It wasn't because she was a person of color. It was because people are alleging that words beginning with N had been uttered towards her. So that's why there must have been, there could have been a racial undertone, but it haven't been put in as a hate crime.
Nurse. I've never served on a jury before.
When you work as an administrative assistant, what type of business is that?
It is a nonprofit, Christian nonprofit.
Thank you, ma'am.
organization.
Yeah, I was looking at the start at Le Tour de Femme today, and it looked like you had a really, really nice day in Holland today. No wind and a lot of sun.
Kayvon Clayton.
Yes, sir. I work at a transport at West Marion.
You married or have an adult you live with?
My grandparents,
Okay. What about adult children?
no kids.
You been on a jury?
No, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Clayton. Holly Thompson.
I'm married. My husband and I own.
That's the claim.
businesses, Work together.
What type of business is it?
We sell major appliance parts.
Okay.
So, I have 2 grown children. One is unemployed. My daughter works in a poker room as a bartender.
Have you been on a jury before?
Yes.
What type of case was it?
It was a robbery case.
All right. Anything about your prior service you think would interfere with you here?
I'm sorry.
Anything about your prior service you think would interfere with you here?
No.
Where did that occur? Was that here in Marion County?
Yeah.
How long ago?
What?
How long ago were you on a jury?
Oh, gosh, I have a hard time hearing. I'm sorry. About 15 years ago?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
J-Ray. Someone pew-pewing someone through a door. It's Florida. How could you ask these questions? It can only be Wisconsin, Florida, or on a good day, New Hampshire. No. Do I know a not so expensive photographer in Denmark near the city of Odense? Asking for a friend's wedding. Well, I don't live that far from Odense, but let me try the calculating machine.
Oliver Bass.
Yes, I'm married. Both of us work as claims adjustments. I have a daughter, 10.
Okay. Have you been on a jury before?
First time in court.
Okay, good. Christy Christmas.
Yes. I am employed.
Okay. What type of work do you do?
I work at Lakeward High School
All right.
as an attendance clerk.
Great. Married?
Yes, I'm married. My wife works at Disney
Okay.
as a third-party food company.
Have you ever been on, you have adult children who work outside the home?
No, I do not.
Have you ever been on a jury before?
No.
Thank you. Allison Bannerman.
I have 2 jobs.
Okay.
I work for Chewy's Fulfillment Center in the daytime and I do a paper route at night. I'm married. My husband's on dialysis, but he's disabled. We have 5 grown children. I have one son that's disabled, another son that's in kind of builds bathrooms.
Okay.
One of the daughters is a nurse. One of the other daughters works for, where if kids are bad, they go to like a little program.
Like a
She's the cook.
juvenile commitment program?
person. Yeah,
Okay.
she's a cook for that.
Okay.
And then I got another son up north that he works for Walmart distribution.
Have you ever been on a jury before?
Never did it.
I think my wife is keeping Chewy's in business. I keep getting a package and I find it's for the dog. So, very disappointing. Blake Dunning.
I'm gonna one up her. I'm unemployed. I'm not married. I have no kids. I do live with my mom and my 2 grandparents, and I've never served on a jury before.
Okay, thank you. Sherry Pruitt.
I am married. My husband works for Pet Boys. I work for Centurion, which is a correctional healthcare. We're in, the state prisons, not the private ones, but on the healthcare side, not the security side. I have 5 grown kids, 2 in college, 2 work remote jobs, another one is in school. But then one works for an AC company.
Okay. You ever been on a jury before? No? I couldn't hear you.
No.
Okay. Gail Steiner.
Yes, I am employed. I work as a clinical assistant at Ocala Dermatology and Skin Cancer Center. I am married. My husband works at CCS Mechanical as an estimator. I have 1 grown daughter. She is a patient care technician at Agnet Medical, and I've never been on a jury before.
Thank you. Terry Mays.
I work at Publix Valley. And me and my sister live together in Bellevue. She is self-employed. I have 1 daughter, full-grown daughter, and she's up north managing a deli. And I've never been on a jury before.
Thank you. Laura Ewing.
Hi, I'm a pharmacist for Walgreens. I'm married. My husband is Army retired, disabled. I have 2 grown kids. One lives with us. She's at CF, a physical therapy assistant, and the other one is in law school in Miami.
Okay, which school? Which one?
I've never been on a jury.
Which law school in Miami?
In Miami.
Okay, great. Karen, no?
Mhm.
Christopher Little.
I'm married. I'm a senior project manager. My wife is a human resource officer. And we have 3 grown kids. One is scribe, Texas. And one is a detention assistant in Marion County. And the other one is landscape.
Okay. Have you ever been on a jury before?
No.
Karen Peterson.
I'm retired. My husband is retired. I have a grown son that has
What are y'all retired from?
He's worked with the fire department doing their radio systems in Lake County, and Michigan, Delaware.
Okay.
I did a lot of sales. I worked at various companies doing sales, selling life insurance.
Okay.
My son is in the AC business. He has his own home. I've never been on a jury.
Thank you, ma'am. Renee Ruiz.
I'm retired. I have 2 sons,
What are you retired from?
California. I was a bus driver
Okay.
for 20 years.
Okay, great.
Okay. And
Do you have a spouse, live someone you live with?
no, I am single.
Okay. Do you have adult children who work outside the home?
One is 39, the other one is 47.
What type of work do they do?
One is not working. The youngest one, the other one is he works for a company, pewing.
Okay.
I don't remember what it is.
What type, have you been on a jury before?
No.
Okay.
I have been here, but never was elected.
Okay, great, thank you. Do any of you on the jury have family or close friends who are in law enforcement? If you do, please raise your hand. Okay.
Rumor car accident.
And I see a couple hands. Starting with Mr. Cook, can you tell us who you know from law enforcement?
My sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and mother-in-law.
All right. And are they, can you tell us their names?
Tiffany Warren.
We are just seating the jury. It's just to try and see that. Normally I don't do that, but it's just to see how snappy it was going, because if it was going fast and they got a jury seated quickly, they might be doing openings today. It'll be really interesting, I believe.
Donald Owen, Connie Ripley.
And are they in sheriff's office, police department?
Sheriff's office.
And what do they do over there?
Tiffany Warren, I believe, is a sergeant with the sheriff's department. Donald Warren works in the jail. I don't know what the proper name.
Another.
Okay.
And my mother-in-law, essentially, again, I don't know what the name is, but she opens doors.
She what?
Opens doors.
Opens doors?
Yeah, I don't know what the.
Okay, nobody knows people.
All right.
All right. Is there anyone else in the back row? Okay. On the second row, ma'am, what is your name?
Allison Dunn. My father's a retired police officer,
Okay, from where?
New York City.
New York
And then
City.
he was 3 years in Inverness as an Inverness cop, and then he went to work for UPS.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on the second row there? Anyone in the front? I think there was a couple hands in.
Does retired count?
Yes, ma'am.
They're retired law enforcement, my cousin and.
And your name is
Ewing.
Ewing. Okay, that's you.
Virginia, I don't know what force, I want to say Loudoun County. They're both retired police officers.
Okay.
And my uncle was an FBI agent, but he's deceased.
Okay. Was there anyone else in the front row? Yes, sir. What is your name again?
Christopher Little.
Yes, sir.
Harold Andrews, Marion County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Karen Peterson, and my father was 32 years with Miami-Dade. He's been deceased 8 years. Both of my brothers and their wives are retired from Miami-Dade.
Okay. The police department, Miami-Dade Police Department?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ruiz, did you have one? Okay, there was one in the middle. Yes, ma'am.
I can recommend Melanie Little or Brandy Churchwell. Or Brandy Churchwell or Melanie Little. In whichever way you want to do it. If you want to watch the Robert Tellers, I can highly recommend both of them. Great content creators. Always fascinating watching anything they cover. I'll be doing this one.
My brother is.
What was your name again?
Gail.
Last year.
My brother is a retired
2023.
police officer. He lives in New Hampshire. And for my daughter, her boyfriend just graduated.
Because he's talking to the jury, and they probably just have one fixed camera, because if you wanted to show, well, they show their faces when they walk by. So, but I don't like the doxing of people who are not elected for the jury, but still, it's not illegal. I'll probably get demonetized. I lost 30 subscribers since yesterday. So, Brandy do rock. Melanie as well. Maybe a little more rock and roll. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Buckner, you have some additional questions you want to ask?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Please score.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rich Butzman, along with Adam Smith. We represent the state of Florida in this case. And as Judge Hodges indicated earlier, there are no right or wrong answers. We're just looking to get to know you, to get information from you guys, and we're looking for just honest answers. The whole purpose of this process here is to find jurors who would be good jurors for this type of a case, because not every juror
Mr.
would be a
Tom
good juror
Gillis.
for every type of a case.
Hello.
For instance, if last night I was home watching the closing ceremonies of the Olympics, and I hear my car in the garage start up, and I look out the door and see somebody stealing my car, and I'm asked to come in here Monday morning to sit in a grand theft auto case, I'm probably not going to be the best juror for that case. So I would not be an appropriate juror for that kind of a case. So that's kind of what we're looking for. So all we're looking for is honest answers from you guys so we can kind of get to know you. All right. I'm going to start out and ask some follow-up questions to the answers that you just gave Judge Hodges. Mr. Cook, this is going to apply to several of you. You have your in-laws are in law enforcement. Would the fact that you have in-laws in law enforcement affect your decision in this case in any way whatsoever? No. Okay. Would you agree that law enforcement officers are just like everyday people? Nothing real special about them. They may be better trained in how to observe and investigate certain things than the layperson, but they're just like everybody else. Yes. Would you be able to treat a law enforcement officer, if the one were to testify in this case, the same as you would any other witness, and evaluate that person's credibility like you would anybody else?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Bannerman, same question to you. You have friends or relatives in law enforcement as well.
My father.
Your father, I'm sorry. Would that affect your decision in any?
This is a neighbor who, there's a backstory to it. There had been some conflict between the two neighbors. Some kids were playing outside. Allegedly, Susan Lorincz had been out yelling at the kids, might have used some racial slurs at the kids. The mom comes over, either according to that side, to talk about it and de-escalate the conflict and talk about what she was doing. According to Susan, came over, banged on the door, yelled she was gonna unalive her. Susan was afraid that she would break into her house and through the door pewed. So the lady standing outside with her 10-year-old isn't here anymore. There has been a lot of talk about if this was racially motivated, because allegedly witnesses claim that she had used the N-word and stuff like that. So it's a case about self-defense or felony manslaughter.
In this case. And Ms. Steiner, your, I believe, brother and some other relatives, same question to you. Would that affect your decision in this case at all?
Not at all.
Great.
Kick it down.
Ms. Ewing, same question to you. Would that affect your decision here in any way? Would you be able to treat a law enforcement officer the same as anybody else? And Ms. Peterson, same questions to you.
I agree, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Understood.
She was blind?
Ms. Thompson, there you go. I think you're the only member of the panel that has prior jury experience. That's kind of unusual. How was your prior jury experience? Anything about it that just makes you not want to do this again?
No, it was fine.
Was it a decent experience, a positive experience for you?
Yes, it was.
Were you the foreperson of that jury?
No.
And were you able, without telling you what the verdict was, were you able to reach a verdict? Was the jury able to reach one? Yes? Thank you. To alleviate maybe some concerns here, the defendant in this case is charged with manslaughter. This is not a death penalty case. There's no possible punishment that a death penalty could be a punishment in this case at all. So if anybody was concerned about that, that's not an issue here, okay? Everybody here has probably heard of different types of homicide. Everyone's probably heard of the term first-degree murder, which involves some planning and some premeditation before the murder occurs. The defendant in this case is not charged with that kind of homicide. Some of you have probably also heard of second-degree murder, in which the murder was done because out of hatred, ill will, spite, evil intent towards the victim, or something like that. The defendant is not charged with that kind of murder either. The defendant in this case is charged with manslaughter. Because she is charged with manslaughter, there is no requirement for the state to prove anything such as planning or premeditation, because she's not charged with that.
You will probably have a lot of cops testifying in the case. So if you always trust a cop or never trust a cop, that would be a problem as a juror.
Would anyone here?
We are just watching jury selection. I just wanted to see how it went. If we possible could get 2 openings today, I don't believe we will.
Require the state to prove that type of evidence, to prove that there was some planning and premeditation involved, even though the law does not require it, before you can find her guilty of manslaughter. Basically, what I'm asking is, would anybody impose additional requirements on the state that the law does not require? Again, because she's charged with manslaughter, there's no requirement the state to prove that this killing was because of hatred, spite, or evil, ill will intent, or anything like that. Would anybody here require the state to prove that, even though the law doesn't require us to? Judge Hodges asked earlier about whether you have children that are adults who work outside the home. Who here has children still in the home? Mr. Cook, how many children do you have?
2.
2? And how old are they?
13 and 16.
Mr. Barnes, no kids, right? Mr. Pernice, no kids. Ms. Fry? 2. And how old are they?
3 and 1.
Sorry?
3 and 1.
Oh, wow, okay. Ms. Johnson, any?
If I had a 1-year-old, I would probably say, thank you so much for jury duty. That's 8 hours out of the day. I don't have. Oh, I love kids. Jury selection process has been tainted. A defendant rarely ends up with a jury of their peers nowadays. No, because too many people are sitting here and saying, I wouldn't take a week off my job to be on a jury. I only make $25. So it's the slow movers that gets on juries. That's why I always advocate, if you get a summons, don't do the weasel thing and say, someone else will do it. I'm too busy. I shouldn't participate in that. Because remember, the next time, Scott McGinnis, you You're from the neck of the woods where everyone can get charged with anything. A jury of your peers will be Katie Peters and other delinquents. You wouldn't want that. So get some smart peoples on the jury, because the American justice system, after watching this for almost a year and a half, you really need some people who don't just say, F it, let's do a lesser included and get out of here. We've been talking for too long.
One, he's 18.
Clayton? Ms. Thompson?
2 children, only my son still lives at home, he's 21.
Mr. Bass?
Yes. One daughter, he's 10.
Ms. Christmas?
Yes, I have 2. I have 11 and a 14-year-old.
Ms. Bannerman?
I have 2.
Yeah, they were about to lose the jury again today.
No, 40 years old, sorry. Yeah, 38 years old.
That's okay. Mr. Dunning, no children.
Freedom fighters need guns too, Zachariah.
Ms. Steiner?
I have 1 daughter, she lives at home, she's 22.
Exactly.
No children.
And again,
Okay.
all of you who are watching this now is probably understanding a little bit about the law and about reasonable doubt and about beyond reasonable doubt, that most people come in there thinking, she's charged with something, she must be
Does
here.
anyone here or have in the past worked in a school type setting? In the classroom, Ms. Christmas?
Well, I work in the school, but not in the classroom.
Not in the classroom? Okay. Nobody else? Okay, what about like an aftercare program?
I think you had a hand up over here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson, I missed you.
I did, I worked at, it was an alternative school for juvenile justice, as a behavioral specialist.
Why is the school important?
Would you have been in the classroom dealing with
Yes.
a group of children? Okay. How long did you work in that setting?
5 years.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
No? Why not?
They were expelled from regular school for the behavior.
Okay, so that was a kind of a unique situation that you had to deal with. I understand. Anybody else I missed that worked in a school setting, an aftercare, daycare type setting? During the COVID shutdown, I would assume that plenty of people here probably work at home. Some of you still may work at home. Who here has had that situation where you've had to work at home for a long period of time? Bass, Mr. Pruitt, okay. Mr. Bass, what did you describe for me what was going on then?
Well, at the time, I was at another company, this is in Orlando, Stanford actually, and they sent everybody home in that time to change jobs.
Yeah, but does it have anything? I don't know. I believe it's a 6-person jury, yes. Yeah, let's wait till we see the trial start. They can come off quite differently when they are trying to ingratiate themselves with the juror. Sometimes they change a lot when they start doing the real job. No, it's the prosecution, so they don't want to show they were aggressive.
Why? Okay. Was it easy for you to like tune out the people when you're working at home or the distractions?
Bro, no. It's a grown woman with 4
Were there
kids.
people in your household that were potential distractions to you?
Oh, well, my wife and daughter.
We won't tell you that. Okay. Thank you. Well, who else had this? I think Mr. Pruitt, yes.
I was working in a regional job for my company. I worked for the company almost since 2007, this company since 2016, and they when COVID hit, I was working in a regular office setting in our regional office, and then we got closed. And so they sent us home. And so after that, it was kind of going back and forth, and they said, "We'll stay home." So we stayed home. My 2 youngest my son was living at the house as well. He's in school in Jacksonville. So yeah, we just kind of separated out because they were, and then just continued that way.
Did you enjoy working from home?
What's with my chat? Is anything wrong with my chat? I don't know. I'm looking at it. Seems normal. Is anyone else having problems with the chat?
Yeah, I got sick of talking to the animals, so I was happy to get back.
And were your children?
Did I ask
your
about my
children
chat?
were in the home while you were working at home?
It started out where they both ended up getting sick and then kind of passed it on to us. So my youngest was still in high school. My son was in SEF at that time. And so they had to stay home until they tested negative. And so yeah, we all kind of happy.
Were you still able to get work done at home even with those distractions?
Yeah.
How'd you manage to like tune that stuff out?
I think they're older. So, you know, it doesn't really, it's more the little dog that I mean, other than that, it wasn't bad at all. I mean, I was doing a lot of tracking and tracing at that time as well of our different patients with COVID. So it kept me working all hours of the day and night. But
Understood.
it was fun for a while.
Thank you. Who else? Anybody in the second row, front row, and we had that situation? Has anyone here grown up or lived in currently like an apartment type setting with a large group of people in the immediate area? Some people enjoy that situation. Other people say, I want a 50-acre plot in the woods with nobody talking to me.
That's why we switched to 2-ply instead of 4-ply. And when chat starts using a correct amount of toilet paper, you'll get the soft one back.
So it's just a matter of what your preferences are. What has anyone grown up or lived in that type of a setting, confined, a lot of people in a small area? Okay, Mr. Cook, can you describe that kind of setting?
Apartment building.
I did Eli.
We were in college, and then government housing.
Did you enjoy that, or would you rather be the
That's
kind of
his
person
name.
that wants to live?
I got that.
Why is that?
I don't like people.
Okay. Okay.
I like my kids, not kids.
I was in Delaware the last time, the previous time I was in the US. I have good friends over there. Beautiful, beautiful place. Reminds me a lot of Denmark.
I think somebody else in the back room. Mr. Batts, yes, sir. Got it, okay.
Well, Donati, you can't really spoil anything because I haven't done any pre-planning for this. We're just watching jury selection, and it doesn't look like they're going to seat a jury today because there's 2 hours to court normally close. So I was actually thinking about maybe just going in and talk about what this case is about. Because, as I said, I haven't really done anything. Jamie took a day off. When you're the boss, you just take time off and call your minions and say, you work now. I whip you. You work. Ándale, ándale. Why is he speaking Spanish to me? I don't know. Iris was up there for a week. Jamie changed. Hey, Danny G. Yeah, I think YouTube is... Over the last week, I think in total, I lost maybe like 150, 200 subscribers. So I'm so close to 12,000. It doesn't matter. What does the number of subs you have matter? It's who shows up and watches your streams. The only thing you can use the sub count for is when you have your measuring contest and say, hey, I have this many. But this case is about Susan Lorincz, who was charged with felony manslaughter for the June 2023 incident. Jury selection is set to begin Monday. Blah, blah, blah. Susan Lorincz, the Florida woman who is charged with fatally shooting her neighbor Ajike, AJ Owens, a black mother of 4 in 2023, amid a dispute with Owens' children. The remembrance of it is very painful, Pamela Diaz, Owens' mother, said during a June 2nd gathering at Immerse Church in Ocala to commemorate Owens' life on the 1-year anniversary of the fatal pewing. You feel this emptiness, this void that nothing can complete, and then you couple that with the fact that you have 4 babies who have lost their mother. Susan Lorincz, who is white, was arrested on June 6th and charged with first-degree felony manslaughter, which is punishable by up to 30 years in prison if she is convicted, according to Marion County Sheriff's Office. She was also charged with culpable negligence, battery, and 2 counts of assault, but those lesser charges have since been dropped according to court records. Lorinzc pled not guilty. She was held on a $150,000 bond and have remained in custody since her arrest last year. Lorinzc's attorney, Amanda Sizemore, I know that name, previously declined to comment on the charges her client is facing and did not immediately return a request ahead of trial. Over the past year, Owens' family have repeatedly called on prosecutors to upgrade the charges against Lorinzc to second-degree murder, but Florida State Attorney William Bill Gladson said in June 26, 2023 statement that there were insufficient evidence to prove a murder charge in court. As deplorable as the defendant's actions were in this case, there's insufficient evidence to prove this specific and required element of second-degree murder, Gladson said. With jury selection set to begin, ABC reached out to Owens' family and their attorney for further comments. According to a June 6, 2023 statement from Marion County Sheriff's Office, Lorinzc allegedly pewed Owens through a closed door in the presence of her now 10-year-old son after the mother of 4 went to speak with Lorinzc about a dispute over Owens' children playing near her home. Ahead of Lorinzc's trial, the Marion County Sheriff's Office released video on June 10th of Lorinzc's 2-hour interrogation, which took place 4 days after the fatal shooting. Lorinzc claimed in her interview that with detectives that she was acting in self-defense when she pewed Owens. She was saying, "I'm gonna unalive you," Lorinzc claimed in the video. No one that we interviewed so far has made any statements about her saying that she wanted to unalive you, one of the detectives told Lorinzc. Body camera footage released on July 3rd by the Marion County Sheriff's Office showed 7 incidents between February 25th and April 25th in which Lorinzc called the sheriff's deputies to complain about neighborhood children, including Owens' children, playing near her home. The body camera video also show a child alleging in comments to sheriff's deputies that Lorinzc called the children in the neighborhood the N-word, and another who accused Lorinzc of being racist. During the interrogation, Lorinzc repeatedly denied using racial slurs towards Owen and her children on the night of the pewing. But according to a police report, Lorinzc admitted to calling children in the neighborhood the N-word and other derogatory terms in the past. "I do not have a comment at this time," Sizemore told ABC News when asked to comment about the release of the body camera footage and the allegation that Lorinzc called the children the N-word. Owens' family also called on Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody and the U.S. Department of Justice to review the case and consider whether the shooting was a hate crime. So, I think it's
changed recently and things like that. Ms. Johnson, you're nodding your head.
be an interesting case to see how much of this they can prove, but they didn't believe they could upgrade it to murder 2. So, but there will probably be it'll be a fairly heated trial, I believe. But yeah, it's
Why do you think that's important?
Because
might have started today because they were going fast, but now it's kind of slowed down. So I think I'm gonna end it, and we'll start up tomorrow when the trial starts. And I'll find somewhere. What time is it? Yeah, I'm gonna find somewhere to send you so you can go watch something.
Like, if you use the gun, it has to be for a good reason, or you can be in trouble. So I just didn't want to take that chance.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Mr. Clayton? Any ideas as far as you think you should have to have a concealed weapons permit before you can walk around public with one?
Sure.
Why?
Because some people just are not in a good state of mind to have a gun. You just don't know if they're gonna act out or anything, and you just never know. So I think you should definitely get a permit first.
And does that
I just saw that the European Union had sent a letter to Elon Musk because he's doing an interview, I believe tomorrow, with your former president, and reminded him that not all speech are free. So this is where we are. In the UK, they'll arrest people for sharing memes. But a guy who stood on open streets and said people's throats will go to court in September. The other people get 3 months in prison for sharing a meme in a speedy trial. Lorinzc. I'll wait till they say it in court. It's yeah. Why am I leaving you, Toy? Because you're like my beautiful little chicklets. You hatched. I took you under my wing. I laid with you every night. I catched worm for you. But now, I think it's time for you to go out in the world and find your own little chicklet. I'm sending you over to a smaller YouTuber that could use a little love, because sharing is caring and carrying is sharing. Don't ask me about stupid stuff. Just Jen, I'm just about to shut down because this is just
And also train
jury
people on how to
questions.
use it and how to
And
store it safely.
the problem is, I don't like that they are constantly naming people's names. That's why. But I'm going to send you over to someone who I started watching a few days ago, and please show them a little bit of love, because YouTube should be a big old love fest, not a. We watch so much crap, so go show some love for smaller creators. That's what you should do. Toy, you just have to sleep one more time, then I'll have you back. And then you can try and make me think I had a stroke again. I know that's what makes your little engine tick every day. Nick will be traveling for a couple of weeks, I believe. No, it's just there's not much to cover when, and I don't like that they are saying people's names. Dinosaur, så godt. Og dejligt at se dig. Yeah, but he is in, I believe he's in Houston now. I think he's going up to see Kaiser Pineapple in the weekend. So, yeah. Yeah, the UK, it's kind of, and that stuff that happened today in London, the same day that Khan said, no problems. We loved you and you're left kicked out of the nest. Well, I don't know if you know this, but if you love someone, let them go. And if they return, it's yours forever. I'll be back in the morning. I think they will seat the jury today. So we'll probably start normal time tomorrow. We will keep an eye on it. Do all the thingy things, follow X, follow Discord, so you know when we start, because YouTube apparently is on a getaway baker trial path right now. There's an American fighting prison time over a meme he posted. Stupid. Don't be mean. Well, I'm going for cigarettes and milk. Catch me in the chat on the other side. Then I believe it's a 12-year-old or 13-year-old, and I believe it was a mother. So yeah, I'm hot, but I don't smoke. Exactly. That's what all did. Just ask my kids. Yesterday, I said to my daughter, I'll go for cat food. She hadn't seen me since. That's not true. I drove her in so she could get some cat food. Scott, I've been streaming for an hour about nothing, really. And I don't say just because you leave, you have to unsubscribe. You are allowed. Well, yesterday I was asked by Dr. Heinz if I wanted to do another channel talking about football, real football, not American Handshake. And someone else said we should have a book club. I have so many new channels I should make, and I have no time to do it. Yeah, it's funny how that doesn't work, isn't it? But just make a stronger law and it works. Men are hard to please. Not real men. That'll last 20 seconds. I will bring you worms tomorrow, Nicola. Until then, go show some love, and I'll see you in the morning. And maybe Jamie will be here tomorrow if you behave. That's the reason she hasn't been here today, because Zachariah has been making a fuss over at Brandy's channel. Love you all. See you all.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%.
100%.
Objection, Your Honor.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All
right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.